It's Elite POV, coming live to your area on twitch.tv.
Let's fucking go!
We are your number one place for everything in the world of all elite wrestling. And just remember, when you're with us, you'll always be elite.
Yo, it's clear to see when you open up your feed that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. We bring the heat to your screen every week, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV. So understand every time that we speak that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. Our 3 letters is all you'll ever need, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Elite POV, where it's podcast time, and you know what that means. I'm one of your hosts, Phil Cataldo, but you can call me Philliam. And as you see with the setup, Ant's running a little bit late, but he will just jump in when he gets time, and we'll get everything going. But for now, the people who are here, let me go to, first off, the draw. Jackie Rodriguez, what is up?
Hey.
Everybody, as you can see, I'm repping today. I got my Latina shirt on. I totally copped this idea off of Mercedes Martinez. She wore it on an episode of Dynamite, and I had to get me one. But hello, everyone. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see all your beautiful faces in here, even though we're not really seeing your faces. We're just seeing names.
We're not?
I'm
Wait,
on
what?
I'm on one tonight.
It's that Latina.
It's that Latina heat.
Latina.
And that other voice you hear is the producer, the Canadian Prince himself, Kyle Masters. What is up?
Oh, I'm going to be producing hardcore today, especially when Ant gets in here. Because if you guys don't know how Discord works, as soon as a new person joins the chat, all the webcams go. So when Ant does join, everyone that's watching the video version best be prepared for a tornado to hit the chat and go crazy. We'll still be talking. We'll be all right. But, you know, I'll adjust on the fly. But what's going on, everyone? Here to talk. I got my awesome. So this shirt I'm wearing is hilarious. So me and Jackie were talking about this before we got on. So this is the One Winged Angel shirt. This is by, what was that company called, Jackie? The
Clothesline Apparel.
Clothesline Apparel. So the thing is, they make really cool and comfortable clothing. Unfortunately, I ordered this shirt from the Global AEW Shop website, which doesn't actually have the same material as that company. So they just took the logo and printed it on a crappy what's that shirt? Gildan. You know, that basic shirt like company. Really, they just printed it on there. So it's not actually the Clothesline Apparel material. It's just the logo pasted onto this one. But I'm excited to talk some AEW. A lot happened. Yesterday was probably the most craziest episode of Dynamite that we've had in a while, and we're literally 1 week away from the go home show for Revolution, and man, oh man, are we heating up.
And before we get into all of that, because like Kyle said, we have a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, we'd like to remind you that we do this show every Thursday live at 7 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/ElitePOV live. And if you missed that, the replays go up on youtube.com/ElitePOV later that night or the next day, and also available anywhere you guys find your podcast. So if you can't see it in video form, you could also listen there on audio. And if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/ElitePOV. We have some great stuff coming, so stay tuned for that. After the show, we do an after show. So if you're a Patreon, you could ask questions. We'll answer it on the show. We have a lot of fun doing that every week. If you guys want to buy some of our great merchandise, ElitePOVmerch.com. As we said on last week's episode, we are purging the store.
It's been purged.
And it's been purged. So the store has been purged. Get ready for some new designs going up. There's one design that should be going up shortly.
So I got some news about that. I probably should have told the team today, and I totally skipped my mind because, you know, I had like I got busy in the afternoon today with my job, and I'm like, okay, as soon as I'm done work, I'll message the team. By the way, I purged the site. Totally forgot to do it. Spaced out. Anyways, I've purged the site. There's 2 designs on there you can buy still. So the regular logo shirt with our logo that's right there in the layout. And the brand new design has been launched, folks.
Yes.
You hear us say it all the time here on the show. Baby faces have no friends. It is officially on ElitePOVmerch.com for you guys to get. And I'm currently designing a bunch of other logos that will be put on the website. Basically saying that you hear on here. We have an idea for the you don't need a coffee cup to have a coffee logo that's going to be made. It's going to go actually on a coffee cup, coincidentally. So it's going to be coming soon. I'm still designing that. It's in beta. So yeah, stay tuned. Like Phil said, some crazy designs are coming to that merch store.
So yeah, if you guys want to support us, Patreon and Elite POV merch is the best way. Or if you want to drop subs in the chat, like the best in the world last week, Jermazing did. So we appreciate anything. And reminder, this doesn't go to any of us. It goes right back into the show. And actually, currently, it is all going for our all-out budget because we all plan to go to all out and make some great content for you guys. But enough of the promoting. Let's get right into it. There's a ton of stuff happening in the world of AEW. We're definitely ramping up for Revolution, which is less than a week away now, or about like a week and a half away at this point. So some of the news that is going out there right now is Tony Khan is teasing another huge announcement. People are speculating that it could be either him buying Ring of Honor, it could be him buying the library, like the tapes of Ring of Honor, all the old like stuff, or it could be a huge conjoined show between AEW, New Japan, maybe Impact, AAA, whatever, doing some huge event that we've all wanted them to do. Maybe like an all-in style event, especially if he buys the rights to Ring of Honor. Why would he also buy All In? Because Ring of Honor owns All In. But Kyle, I'll start with you. How do you feel about the potential of something huge coming?
Well, with the Tony Khan announcements, I always go to the DJ Khaled meme. Another one. It seems like I'm kind of leaning on the boat as of late that he's kind of falling into the too many announcements train. He kind of needs to slow it down a little bit. You don't need to have a big announcement every week. And why not just have one of these announcements be a surprise? Why do you have to come out and say, oh, and put an advertisement on Dynamite? It's a big announcement on Dynamite next week. And then we get to Dynamite, nothing happens. Oh, there's legal teams involved and, it's coming. Don't worry. Then don't make the announcement that there's going to be an announcement this week. You kind of got to tone down on the announcement thing a little bit. But I'm excited to what it could be because he did say on Before Dynamite on the AEW Twitter account that there's some legal teams involved and they're trying, they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. They're getting stuff finalized. There's a lot of rumors. A lot of the top dirt sheet people really don't even know either. It's been really kept hush hush. They're speculating that it could be either, Tony Khan possibly buying Ring of Honor. That's a little bit far-fetched. All of them have been saying they're leaning more towards like a partnership with a New Japan for a super show or a partnership to have a streaming service for AEW. One name that's been talked about is HBO Max because they can capitalize on the popularity of HBO Max right now. That would draw a lot of eyes over to AEW, especially the crowd that is watching HBO Max that might not, really watch professional wrestling right now. You got shows on there like Peacemaker and Euphoria that are like the top shows right now. And you got
Euphoria is
the
number one show in the world right now. So
exactly. So why not?
Figure a lot of people are. Yeah, it's very similar to the Netflix model of the same thing that Lucha Underground had a resurgence. I mean, I know for me personally, right? Once they put that on Netflix, I was able to go back and actually watch it because I don't have the El Rey network. So I wasn't able to watch it when it was on TV live. So, people get bored. People, a lot of these streaming apps have like a random function now. So people do that. Or I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid and it's on the main page. So you click it, right? I'm sure a ton of people who use the Peacock app, even though the app is an absolute piece of shit,
It's a disaster.
probably stumble upon WWE stuff all the time. So I think it'd be really cool with the success of a Peacemaker or the success of, right now, Euphoria, like I said, being the biggest show in the world and just the Game of Thrones and Sopranos and all this crazy stuff that HBO Max has, that it'll draw an audience. So, I mean, I hope so. The only problem that I have with that, Kyle, is you don't have HBO Max.
Yeah.
Right? It's not available in Canada. So I don't know if they would put it on a streaming service that isn't available worldwide.
Yeah.
The Fight TV option, does that have an on-demand function on it, or is it just solely for the purpose of streaming live?
No, it's on demand. Once it's up there, if you click the link, it's always up there.
Right, but then so wouldn't they have the advantage of already having something similar to having a streaming service? Like here in the US, we're like screwed because if you have like Hulu, I used to have Hulu Live
Mhm.
and they would have like maybe 10 episodes backlogged and then once the newest one came out, the 10th oldest would
Yeah,
disappear and
you're
you
right.
just can't
Hmm.
go back and watch anything.
Uh-huh.
And I think for like I used to be able to go into the BR Live app and catch some old episodes, but now it's like the US is like, huh, once it's done and it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, just please be our live. Don't do that.
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
that app
man.
was the worst, bro. It was so bad.
I mean, Tony Khan did say that it's something people are not expecting. What if, I know this is a big what if, like a very big what if he's figured out the way to have their own streaming service, like WWE had the WWE Network. What if he figured out and found a team that could design him a network that's similar to the WWE Network?
That would be heavenly.
That would be great because WWE Network was great.
It was perfect.
Like, I know
Yeah.
it had its
Yeah.
issues, but everything's gonna have its issues. But I thought it was awesome.
So-
It was everything was just there. Especially like we've been like almost 4 years now, right? Like
Yeah.
because remember it's three years on TV, but there was that year before they were on TV. So like there's enough content to watch and there's enough stuff to go in. And then if they take the stuff that's on YouTube, maybe throw that on there if people are not on YouTube. And there's a lot of opportunities
BT
to
can
do
go on there.
bunch of-
The vlogs,
Oh, yeah, man.
people's vlogs.
Yeah.
The start, they can have a whole vlog section of every superstar because like almost all the roster has a
I
vlog.
know.
So
All 50
AEW.
vlogs.
Let this be known. We are willing to work for you.
yeah,
We will do this podcast. We will review blogs,
or
vlogs, vlogs, whatever that. We'll review it all. Jackie will show you how she cuts her shirts. Jackie and Nyla Rose will do a talk show.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean,
I'm
what's
all
up.
for it.
he's a billionaire. He does have the resources to go out and he would have had a team to sit down and okay, what did the WWE Network have? Can we get something like this? It's possible. We can fund it. I'm a billionaire. Go out and find something like that. They find it. It's something that no one's really expecting, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Tony Khan's, maybe not signed with like an HBO Max or a Fight TV or something like that, but he's just designed his own. So
Yeah,
we'll
very,
see.
very true.
I guess we'll see. I mean, even a New Japan Super Show will be really cool. Everyone's clamoring for that because of all this New Japan like people showing up, and it just makes sense. And it'd be a perfect place to do it finally in the Elite versus the Bullet Club kind of thing. Like they have the card. I imagine Tony Khan has a card written down of if this ever happens, what matches want to go down, right? So I guess we'll have to wait and see. He says we'll know soon, I guess, whenever this is finalized. I'm going to assume maybe at Revolution, now that we're almost getting pretty close. Actually, it'll be a week Sunday, so I don't know. I'm excited to see what it is, though. But yeah, tone down on the advertising. There's a big announcement next week. Tony Khan has an announcement. Okay. Leave some stuff for a surprise, because that also pops the boys.
Yeah. And if there's
Us,
anything we
we're the
love here,
boys.
if there's anything that we love here, it's popping the boys, right,
Yeah.
Kyle? So another big news that's been out there right now is the reports that Shane Strickland, aka Scott, aka Strickland now, from Hit Row, has reportedly signed a deal with AEW. So Jackie, I'll start with you. Are you excited about this, and do you think this is a good signee for them?
I always say I'm excited whenever they bring somebody new in because of the hype that surrounds them and the possibilities of just new matches and rotating the roster a little bit. Shane Strickland came in at a time where I was not watching the other product. So again, I'm going into this completely blind, not really having a lot of experience in
The
what
other
he's done
product.
previously. Yeah, the other product. I said it.
Wow.
He who shall not be named. So,
You got Voldemort over there.
The Voldemort
Yeah.
of the wrestling world. No, but like I said, it's always.
Does that mean Tony Khan's Harry Potter?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it could.
He's here to
could
save
be
us.
that.
Yeah.
He's here to save us.
But no, yeah, bring him in, and I've been pleasantly surprised with a lot of people that I haven't been familiar with thus far. So, let's go.
What do you think, Kyle?
I'm excited. Like I saw a very brief of him in NXT. I liked what I seen. I really wasn't on the board of him going up to the main roster so soon. When I wasn't watching NXT, but when I seen that they called them up already, I'm like, well, that seems a little quick for anyone in NXT to be called up that quick. And then look what happened.
Just to be let go.
Yeah, I seen a couple of clips that people have been sharing ever since the news broke out. I got to be excited. I mean, if he can, I haven't really heard him on the mic. Haven't heard any promos by him. I haven't watched anything by him. If he is good on promo wise, sure. But I know in ring he's really good, so I know it's a great talent to sign to AEW. It's tough. It's really tough for me to go. I can't sit here and like kind of fantasy book him because I really haven't thought too much about it. If he could be a good hand for Tony Khan, sure, bring him into the roster. I mean, I'm not on the fence where people think in a way, AEW's roster is a little bit too much right now, but I'd rather have a roster with a lot of talent than nothing at all. And then when injuries happen, you're screwed. So
very true.
Looks
true.
like, there's all these rumors about contracts being up soon and stuff like that. So there might be, an exodus of some other talent, to make room for these newer acquisitions.
We'll talk about it. I'm sure we're going to be talking about the one.
But let's go right into it. Right.
Yeah.
So before I'm extremely excited. I think Swerve is fantastic. I loved him in NXT. And even listen, I was never a fan of Hit Row. Right. But that was never a knock against him. Right. I thought he is far and beyond one of the most talented people that they had. And the fact that they even let him go is mind-blowing because he is absolutely incredible in ring. He didn't really cut that many promos where he wasn't like rapping when I watched it because by the time he won the North American title, I had already stopped watching. Yeah. But he's a fantastic wrestler. So it's definitely, but the one thing that we were kind of mentioning, chat, if you guys didn't know, so Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that he's heard from a good source that Brian Cage, that AEW has exercised the option on weird. Brian Cage's. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Brian Cage, here comes Ant.
Here comes Ant. Now I got to put him in. Then I got to put him in the thing.
So AEW has exercised the option on the final year of Brian Cage's contract, which is weird because not only us as people who watch as fans, but a lot of people within that company assumed Brian Cage would be let go, but now he's coming back. So Jackie, I mean, I know you're not excited, but like, how just crazy is this news, really?
Expected, because I think that we've been even talking about it on the show that we figured that he was one of the first people that would be out the door, given all the controversy surrounding him not being on TV and his wife getting involved on social media and stuff like that. So we kind of jokingly said, oh, well, what if Brian Cage just ends up in the Face of the Revolution match just because we need another big guy in there and this is like his last hurrah? And then here we go. It's like we jinxed it.
Yeah,
and
what's going on?
Now he's
it's our
back.
fault. So let me welcome in Mr. Defiant himself. May I say, a very handsome Kip Sabian-like haircut.
Yeah, look
Anthony DeStefano, what is up?
Haircut.
Well, I am never late. Ask Phil, I am never late for anything, ever. I'm never late. Mm-hmm. I had help tonight. We are like 3/4 of the way done building my studio, like framing it. So when I had the help, I had to they're doing it for free. I couldn't be like, I gotta go. Like I had to help. So
fuck you guys, I'm out here.
Yeah. So I ran a little late because we were finishing the last wall, but studio should be done in like a month, so I'm pretty hyped about it.
Listen, all you missed was we talked about Tony Khan teasing the big announcement.
Another
Swerve signing to All Elite, and now we're talking about Kyle's favorite wrestler kind of re-upping with AEW.
Oh, Brian Cage. Yeah, that was shocking, wasn't it?
What a weird report.
Hunter. I joined Ant's bandwagon with that one.
Yeah,
hey, listen, there's room. I'm the only one here.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah. Great in here.
But now, right before we get to the show, the one thing, and Kyle, do you have this up, like the actual date and of it
for
Double or Nothing?
Oh, I can have it up.
So the location,
it's
while
May,
Kyle
right?
is looking it up, yeah, it's May, but I don't know the exact day. But so the location, of course, is Vegas. We all knew this was going to happen, but it's actually cool to see them go through with it. Where we heard reports going back all the way to All Out. I was listening to Sean Ross's kind of Patreon podcast today. He was talking
May
about
29th.
It's Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend. We already saw some people on Twitter. I think it was Brett Perry saying if you are going, you need to book immediately because those hotels will sell out because Vegas. Remember,
it's Vegas.
It's Vegas. So like whether it's AEW or it's Memorial Day weekend, if there's probably a UFC show that week, it's always stuff going on in Vegas. So if you're going to Double or Nothing, book it now.
Don't book I was told this is by our buddy Andrew Zarian. He was talking about it today on his show. Don't book the MGM Grand. Do the other MGM. That's like MGM Parking or Park or something like that. That's the arena that
you actually sleep in the parking lot at MGM Parking. It's a bunch of tents.
To give you more of an idea, it's the hotel where Dynamite and Rampage are going to be filmed. There's a hotel on that arena. So
it's about all I can afford is MGM Parking.
And then the T-Mobile Arena is across the street. So
the $40. What can we get for that?
But if you're going, that's where you want to book. If not, you're going to be down the strip somewhere and you'll be Ubering it in.
And listen, Ubering out of there, I could only imagine how. It's Vegas, so maybe
worse
it's not
than the Now Arena.
No, nothing's worse than that. People were there for hours. WrestleMania at MetLife was pretty bad.
Speaking of,
crazy. Hoagie tray, hoagie tray.
Yeah, one hoagie, bro. 55 people.
We can talk about it. They're doing T-Mobile Arena. This isn't a 10,000 seat arena. This is like a 20,000 seat arena. Mm-hmm. That's got to scream good news for All Out because if they're going to do Chicago and All Out, they have to do the United Center. You have
to stop selling themselves short.
You can do Rampage and Dynamite at the Now Arena to keep, the monumental thing there. They did All In, yada, yada, yada. Do Rampage and Dynamite there, and then do All Out at United Center.
So, Jackie, how many pictures do you think they do in front of 20,000 people? 3?
In front of it's a pay-per-view. Why would they?
They have a vendetta. They have a vendetta against you, and clearly, a pay-per-view is not going to stop them.
This is true. They're gonna wait till FTR has a match. They're gonna wait till the women's match is on.
FTRs are going to be about to win the tag titles, and it's not going to be a picture-in-picture. It's going to be let's cut the full commercial.
Yeah.
It's going to be Tony Schiavone in the back interviewing
just to let you know, Double or Nothing is brought to you by.
And you see me pulling my freaking hair out.
We're here with MT Nakazawa for whatever reason.
The hell is this?
It doesn't look like FTR is going to win a pay-per-view, Adam. I agree.
Probably I think they are. The reaction that they got when them and the Bucks were face-to-face last night, and we'll get to that. And then Dax is tweeting about it, and Dax is getting all this press. Before we get into the show, a little recommendation for people. Renee did a fantastic podcast with Dax. He gets into a lot of personal stuff that he's never told. He tells a Shawn Michaels story that yet again makes me regret ever being a fucking Shawn Michaels fan. I wish I got into wrestling either earlier, so I would have just been a Bret Hart fan.
I would give Shawn the side eye, but he's already given me it.
Yeah, exactly. But Jackie, get a little recap of what was said on that podcast, or just why people should listen to it.
Yeah, it was a very powerful and very insightful interview. Renee does a lot of these really great interviews with people because she's on a personal level with them and she is friends with Dax. So they talked about things like mental health, anxiety, body image. There are some content warnings in the beginning because it does get a little deep and a bit dark at sometimes, but it's just so real and authentic. And I tweeted about it today. I was late to the party tweeting about it, but it really just resonated with me very deeply as somebody who also struggles with mental health and body dysmorphia. And I already love Dax for being the kind and gracious person that he is, and he's always been really great with me, but my respect for him just grew exponentially. So go on Renee's podcast, The Sessions, and look up the Dax Harwood episode because it's you can't miss it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So I see Adam in the chat. He can give a quick recap. I'll give a quick recap. Dax was feeling nervous going into a Raw 25. He had a lot of personal stuff going on, and professionally, he didn't feel well. He felt comfortable enough telling Shawn Michaels these things, and Shawn Michaels then later on made fun of him in front of the Clique and other people who were there.
After they bonded over this. After Shawn said, I agree, I've been through it. And it just further proves my point. The Hart family stays undefeated. As I've said since I was a little kid, I was right yet again. Bret Hart is the least troublesome. He was a bitter old man, but he's never been rude to anybody. Right.
So basically, what Ant's saying is Brat did not screw Brat.
Brett did not deserve to be screwed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Shawn Michaels
Sean
should have been
screwed
screwed.
Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yo, we
Well,
got
I
to
guess
talk about
Shawn
one more
Michaels
thing.
is screwed later on with his eyes going.
We got to talk
Yeah,
about one
right?
thing before we get to AEW Dynamite. One thing, because there's
Yeah.
a possibility he may even show up in AEW. Right before we went on, a couple hours ago,
Yep.
everyone
Oh
broke
my
the news
God.
that our
Yep.
boy Claudio Castagnoli, a.k.a. Cesaro, is free from WWE.
Yep.
Contract is officially expired and can appear anywhere he wants as of tomorrow.
Which is
Dude,
unbelievable.
the first thing I thought is Claudio versus Danielson without writers.
Oh my God.
Right?
Like, that's the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and we talk a lot about, or last week I talked a lot about losing Cody. You lose that guy who could put a suit on, who could talk to these execs. Cesaro knows like 5 different languages. If you want to extend the brand of AEW into the UK or into where all these different countries, Cesaro knows 5 different languages, and you know. He's always in a suit. He's always well dressed, well spoken. He's a great advocate for your company, so that could be a huge hire for them.
For AEW.
Yeah. So you got
he's too Swiss.
Literally an
So-
unreal wrestler.
Yeah.
Like the best wrestler in that company that was never a world champion somehow.
yeah, and this yet again what fans want to see, right? We saw what a change of scenery has done for Malachi, what it did for Miro, what it did for Moxley. Like
Even
this
Danielson.
could be huge. Yeah, Danielson too. And Adam in the chat, Claudio versus Phoenix or Dante Martin. Claudio and Chris Hero reunite the Kings of Wrestling to go against FTR. Claudio versus Kenny Omega. Like there's so many new things.
Here's the interesting thing though, Phil. I don't know if you read this because I know it just broke before you got on.
Mhm.
He had a pretty good offer from WWE and he just didn't sign it. It almost felt
wants to
like
wrestle.
Moxley.
Yeah.
Like, remember Moxley's like, I had $1 million contract sitting on my counter and I didn't even look at it.
Mhm.
I was like, don't even want it.
Well, because
Like-
after a certain point, you've made enough money, right? And it's funny too, because in the Dax interview, he tells a story about him talking to his grandmother right before he left WWE, because it's like, how much money do you need, right? If you really love wrestling and the art of wrestling, you want to wrestle, and Cesaro wasn't given a chance to ever elevate past a certain point, no matter what he did, no matter what he worked on. I mean, the dude went from an incredible wrestler with no charisma, right, to one of the most charismatic people, and they never gave him a chance.
Dude, there was, when we went to Mania, there was thousands of Cesaro section signs.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thousands of them.
They
There's that
never
clip-
capitalized
There's that
off
clip
it.
that's being shared. It's hilarious. It's the greatest hot
hot
hot tag of all time, where he like
Oh,
he
hell
went
yeah.
nuts for like 2 to 3 minutes straight and just did not stop. Went around.
Well,
the
him
arena outside.
imagine him versus Silver, like Claudio and a tag team partner versus the Dark Order, for him and Silver doing
Or
that.
hot tagging.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. It'd be so great. But
he's got to throw all kinds of money. You know, Tony Khan's got to at least make a pitch, whether Cesaro wants to come here now, or maybe he wants to do the New
Well,
Japan
I mean-
circuit. He maybe
But
Well,
here's the
wants
thing,
this
you
is
can.
where-
You can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
so this is where
That's
I want to
true.
give Ann a shout out, right? This is where calm, grown up, Kip Sabian, grading the beard, Anthony DiStefano.
Grizzled
has
young
come out.
vet. The
Grizzle young vet DiStefano
Yo,
comes out.
I'll be there soon. The more we
Look,
play Gears,
they don't
the
give
more
Cody
my beard will
$4
be
million,
great.
$3 million a year. They're signing Keith Lee. They're
Yeah.
bringing in Buddy Matthews, which we'll talk about next. They're bringing in potentially Swerve. Maybe Jonathan Gresham was backstage last night. Claudio's now available, and we haven't even gotten to all the women that are rumored to be going there. So, like,
Yeah, you
hey,
didn't-
they're putting that Cody money real nice.
You didn't even touch Wyndham, but for some reason I have this horrible feeling that Wyndham's going to join that cult, control your narrative.
Yeah, probably
Oh.
with EC3 and
Oh, fucking-
Braun
As
As soon
Strowman.
as Austin Aries signed there, I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this shit.
Yeah,
I'll have to send you guys.
You gave Zelina Vega a promise ring, dog. I ain't watching you.
I did read today that
fuck outta here.
our girl Thunder Rosa is advocating for Athena to be signed. So look.
Oh,
out for
I mean,
$100%.
that is number 2 on my list of women. Like Tony Storm's number 1 because I feel like she's a rock star, but like really close behind her. Athena would do wonders for that division.
She got such a cool finishing move. The Eclipse is like
Yeah,
the
so
coolest
great.
finishing move
Yeah.
ever.
hmm yeah, really funny. But let's jump right into it. Speaking
Woo!
of people coming in,
Dynamite!
we're gonna go right into AEW Dynamite, and the thing that's on everybody's tongue, the surprise debut of Buddy
Where was Jake
Matthews at
Roberts?
the end of what?
I was joking. You're like, the surprise, everything, it's like what's on everybody's tongue. Where's Jake Roberts?
Yeah, where's Jake Roberts, right? Where has he been? So we get the surprise debut of Buddy Matthews after the House of Black versus Penta and Pac. And Jackie, we screamed. Kyle screamed about 10 seconds earlier, but me and you screamed at the same time watching this. How did it feel to finally get Buddy Matthews to show up last night?
It was pretty epic. Just like everything leading up to that moment too, that Penta Oscuro now debuting in the
what's a good one? Say that again. Rewind.
Don't do this.
Oscuro.
Penta Oscuro.
Oh,
The
okay,
coqui is in the house.
That's gonna be my ringtone.
Cucaracha.
It was just like everything was so dark and macabre going into it, and I love how they kind of like swerved a little bit, even though we kind of knew what we were where we were going with this. But Buddy coming in, and you're like, oh shit, like is he gonna side with the House of Black, or is he gonna like go with Penta and Pac? And the House of Black is alive and thriving and growing, and you freaking love to see it. The one thing I have to say about this, though, and you guys can feel free to agree with me, Alex Abrahantes went full.
Whoa.
He went full method, and I
full
really
Uncle
don't
Fester
think
from Adam's Family.
he
Yes,
really
100%.
did not need to do that.
Alex looked like he dressed like Danhausen for Halloween.
Yeah.
I respect the level of commitment, but just tone it down a little bit. It's enough for Penta to come out looking like the devil.
What did you say? Kyle said he looked like Vince McMahon from It's Me, Austin.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
had
like,
the red
it's
clothing.
like if that Vince McMahon and Paul Bearer had a son,
Yeah, it was
it
Alex.
was Alex.
the higher power and Paul Bearer had his son.
Yeah. It was such a weird thing. I mean, he was cool. Love Alex and love the commitment, but it was such a it like took your attention away from Penta.
Yo,
Like
he
I
did-
didn't care about Penta. I was looking at Alex like, what the hell are you doing?
It felt less dark in a good way. It felt like
Yeah.
dark kind of in a campy way, and I was like, ooh, no, let's not do that next time.
Yeah, very true. But listen, before I just got to say something.
Shout out to Carrie.
I was so hyped for Carrie
Yep.
because listen, Carrie was actually able to watch live last night. So she's texting me through the show and she's like, oh, this is probably going to be Phoenix, but it could be Buddy. And we all know she's the head booker. So he comes out, the lights go on, he's in the ring. I thought it was going to be Phoenix because I'm like, oh, maybe it's a little too early. We saw Buddy Murphy tweeted or put on his Instagram he was going to actually start streaming at 9 p.m. So it was like, oh, maybe he comes at Revolution.
That's a plan.
My text messages with Carrie were just a bunch of letters, numbers, symbols. It was just like she punched her phone because it was like she was so excited. So we couldn't be more excited for Carrie getting her boy to finally show up. But Kyle, how do you feel about this whole segment and Buddy Matthews?
Oh man, hyped as shit for Buddy Matthews because I went and retweeted my own tweet from a couple of weeks ago where I'm like, give me Buddy Matthews and Kenny Omega, and I put the gif of Batista going, give me what I want.
Yeah.
And now we might actually get it eventually later down the line, obviously when Kenny's healthy and he's done doing his stuff with the Elite and stuff, or maybe even in between he can face a Buddy.
We can get a one-off.
A Buddy Matthews, man. I just know that's gonna be like when Kenny faced Pac randomly on a Dynamite right before pay-per-view and had like an incredible Iron Man match with Pac. So I know that
a week before pay-per-view.
I would love them to save it for pay-per-view though, because I know Buddy Matthews and Kenny, if Kenny comes back healthy and better in like his old New Japan self, he has the potential to create something magical with Buddy. So if they want to save that, I'm all for them saving it. But this entire thing was amazing. We always love the aesthetic of Malachi Black's entrance, and now that they've added words to his theme song with the Kings of the Black Throne, you get the Halo intro that goes into his theme song.
So good.
It's so good. It's so well done. And even the Penta Dark thing threw me right off. Like I thought it was really cool. I know like Alex looking like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family kind of threw us off a little bit too. But I mean, that was incredible. And I was all for it. I was amazed by it. Interesting ending. I didn't know if I don't know. The ending kind of caught me right off guard with Penta getting was it Penta that got the quick win, or was
the
it
roll up?
the
Yeah.
roll up? which threw me off a little bit. But then we saw what happened after with the Buddy Matthews thing, which kind of like made me forget about the whole who won the match. So they did kind of a good job in producing that. And like there's that stare down with Malachi and Buddy. I love how they played into all the stuff that went on with them in the WWE. And then we saw him tell, and I pointed, I saw it right away, and I caught it right away, and I yelled in the chat. I'm like, oh my God, he just told Buddy Matthews to do the same move that they did to Malachi to injure his eye to Pac? Or no, was it to Penta on the chair?
To Penta,
yeah. So that was the same exact move. So I was like, oh, okay.
It's great.
All the callbacks.
Everything is canon. Everything is canon in AEW. It exists in the world of wrestling, and it goes beyond the company. So I absolutely love to do that. Before we get to Ant, a little shout out. So Nate in the chat saying he loved the spot where Malachi choked on the Black Mist, right? Which was really cool. And also maybe he'll become more evil after this. Maybe that House of Black is probably fully formed now. I don't know if they're going to add a fourth member because it would go against that image that he released a few months ago where there was only 3 people. So, but maybe that they're fully formed now. Maybe he'll be at the height of his powers. But Ant, what do you think about this?
Buddy Matthews is fucking awesome. Like, him and Ali made me watch 205 Live when that show was garbage, right? Like, and I was sharing the clip. Everyone, you got to watch this. Like, Buddy is so good. And when Kenny Omega a couple of years ago, before like AEW was a thing, they're like, "Who's one person you would love to face?" And he's like, "Buddy Murphy." And everyone was like, "What?" And then you watch Buddy Murphy, and their styles would complement each other so well. Buddy Murphy is someone I can see legit. Him and Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. Give me that. Give me him versus Andrade. Give me him versus Kenny, obviously. Give me him versus Danielson. Like him versus Eddie Kingston, Moxley. Like give us all because he can work with anyone. I just think the way they did it was great because they teased it last week and they didn't sit on it. I think when we were talking about the House of Black before Brody King, we were like, you're sitting on it too long. You're sitting on it too long. Like you keep saying it, but it's not happening. They learned from their mistake as AEW always does. And they teased it last week. Bam, payoff. Now it's great to extend it, but that vignette last week basically had Buddy walking into the room and I'm here now. So I think it was great. Penta, call back to Lucha Underground. Penta is amazing. I always said that Penta and Phoenix, I love them as Lucha Bros, but I want to see a singles run because Penta, I personally think is world championship material. And I think Rey Fenix is the best I've seen since Rey Mysterio 96, right? Like that guy does moves and you're like, that's I've never seen that. So I really think that, a singles run is going to do Penta really well, and especially if he keeps his dark character. And then Pac, I was really invested with the eyesight thing, the blind, the bandana, and it like dropped after a week, and now he came out and I'm like, doesn't feel as cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Doesn't feel as cool as he did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like he should have just wrestled with like a black thing on, like a
where he could still see out of it. Yeah,
and look what we can do, guys. We can buy followers, primes, and viewers if we click that link right there. Fliplink.io/IW77B.
And you can buy nudes, butthole shots, and feet pictures if you follow only.
Damn,
ants.
man,
only ants. If you want feet pictures of ants,
man,
and butthole shots.
Yeah.
Oh no, I accidentally banned them. Oh
no! Before we click the link,
are now we can't be
Sorry,
famous.
guys.
Ruined it.
But no, I do think that was the match was really, really good. I was kind of confused with him choking on the mist because I thought it went on a little bit too long, and then he was drinking water. I'm like, so water is just like your cure for the mist? It's just like choking, like
it's
what
holy
I mean?
water.
But it was
he was choking on holy water.
Yeah, he must have gave him one of those cardboard pieces.
Pac's
going
to come out next week. That was holy water.
The body of Christ.
Yeah.
It was awesome though, and I'm so glad Buddy's here, and that's someone who should get every chance to shine because I do think that is someone that's going to benefit from the AEW style tremendously, and people are going to go, wow, this guy's better than I thought. Although that reaction last night shocked me because I personally think he got a better reaction than Keith Lee. I really do.
And you were there for Keith Lee. So,
yep.
I mean, if anybody's going to know what the reaction actually was, it would be you. But that reaction for Buddy was
louder than
thunderous.
Brody King's one.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they're
it
buddy,
was-
they're
I
buddy
mean-
chance twice.
It was
Because
louder than Jay
AEW
White's
fans-
appearance.
There's a lot of toxic AEW fans out there, right? We're not going to act like they don't exist. A lot of toxic AEW fans who pretend like they didn't watch WWE. Like we all watched it, right? So it's like you remember that he has this history with Malachi. So like seeing him in the ring with Malachi, you're almost popping twice. You're popping for the surprise of him being there, but also the fact that he's in the ring with Malachi. So it's just another reason why the show is fantastic. Speaking of being fantastic, that promo from MJF last night.
Man.
Oh man,
We always say this. What MJF cuts a promo, it's the best promo of his career, and then the next time he does it, it's even better. It's just unreal to me that he is this good at his age and still has like another 20 years, 30 years, especially with his style in the ring, to just get better. Like it's so crazy. And I want to go to you first. So like, what did you think of this promo? You know, some people are saying that it was him shooting, because a lot of it was from a real place, but
it was 100% shoot. It was 100% shoot, because if you were a
Absolutely.
wrestling fan, and especially a CM Punk fan, everything he said struck a chord. I remember, like, I was running around work, and I would have the best in the world thing on my desk, and I was in sales, and I would look at it every day. And then when I was number one on the Matrix, Performance Matrix, I would post that picture in the chat, best in the world, right? Like it was a lifestyle, right? That guy drove you to, like, he wasn't supposed to be the guy, and he was. For 434 days he was the guy, right? The guy that nobody thought could be the guy. So you put yourself in his shoes. I can be that guy. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm not supposed to be here, but I can be the best at it. And it was always like a huge, like, motivational shift in mindset when I started thinking like I can be the best in the world. And everything MJF said last night literally punched me in the gut, because it was 100% how I felt when CM Punk walked out. I was angry. I was mad, because I felt like he just quit on us, and his whole mentality was not to quit. Now, obviously, it comes with the mental health. It makes sense now, right? Everything makes sense. But at the time, you're like, you didn't want to fight Triple H at WrestleMania. Like, what are you complaining about, right?
yeah. Mhm.
And that's how it felt. And I was cheering for the MJF promo last night, and that's how good it was. I had a friend message me today and say, that was the best wrestling promo I've ever seen. And I said, I can't put it there, because I don't think it's changing the industry. The pipe bomb changed the industry, right? Certain promos changed the industry. It is MJF's finest acting work, because it was a shoot, but at the same time, something's coming next week to follow it. The most emotional part of it to me was, and the part where you saw MJF just shine, is when Punk came out. And Kyle pointed this out, and MJF had the tears in his eyes. And it was almost like that "I'm sorry, I love you" moment with Michaels and Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sean only had a tear in one eye because his other eye was looking the other way. But listen, Sean, you did it to yourself, buddy. You did it to
his
yourself.
other eye was looking to stab someone in the back.
You don't talk about our boys. You did it to yourself. But like, it evoked that much emotion where you're like, holy shit, like, that was real, and it felt real, and it felt raw. And I think MJF just shows another layer that eventually one day, and I know he may never be, but eventually one day he could be a face.
And Nate in the chat is saying, I did appreciate the character building. I feel like WWE would never want to build a 3-dimensional character like that. To see the other side of this character is so rare. It was something special. I couldn't agree more, right? It's really cool that when given the opportunity,
good one too that I didn't notice real quick. But say yours, but Ascendant, I want you to touch on that one, because that's
apparently a picture from his Facebook. That one,
the symbolism. When Punk said, "Is it true?" MJF turned his back on him.
Oh yeah,
and that spoke louder than words. Yeah, so that's something I didn't notice either. So
and it adds a layer to it. So the thing that AEW is really good at with building these feuds, right? The storytelling is, it's not just let's fight, they have a match, and it's over. Oh, but it's not over. Let's add a hardcore stipulation. All right. Oh, let's add a steel cage, right? This feud we thought was over, right? MJF beat him. Hangman didn't have a challenger for Revolution. We were like, hey, let's wash our hands. We'll come back to this later. But no, they did something special. They did something cool. He cut this promo now that takes this feud in a whole other direction. Because like Ant said, even though he was saying things that makes us want to cheer for him, we know the other shoe's going to drop. At some point, he was smirking coming up the ramp. The camera caught him smirking. So it was like, all right, there's something behind this. And he's using the truth to kind of get CM Punk to look at him differently, maybe put his guard down. But I don't know, Jackie, what'd you think about all this?
It was so freaking great. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today who he's a more like casual watcher. He watches weekly, but he doesn't get as intensely into it as we do. And he was like, you know, do you think that MJF just like made all of that shit up? And I said, absolutely not. I said, I really think that came from a real legitimate place, because when you think about it, I'm not trying to take anything away from his, you know, acting skills, but to draw that level of emotion up, where you're literally shedding some tears in the middle of the ring, that has to come from a very real and very raw place. Even if he's playing it up a little bit to make it, you know, more dramatic appeal, I think there was some very sincere moments in that promo, and it kind of adds this additional layer where you're starting to see him in a sympathetic light, almost like his origin stories. How did this guy become such a villain? And
I love
the whole,
that. That was fucking beautiful. Can someone clip that? Jesus, that was gorgeous.
And especially with everything that's going on in media now, right? We're seeing a lot of villains get origin stories. The Joker, Morbius is a movie that no one's gonna go see, but it exists, and it's about a villain.
Out. Jared Leto and his abs are in it. Big Dog.
No, yeah, I'm not going to see that. I haven't seen the Venom movies. I'm not going to see
Big Dog is going.
But we're seeing a lot of movies do origin stories for villains, so that's a great point, Jack.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, and that to me is a better story than anything. It's not he's just an asshole because he's an asshole. It's like, oh, he's an asshole because he went through some traumatic stuff and now he's like kind of lashing out. And the touch of Punk coming out and not trying to like immediately confront him, but just kind of gently, like that genuine confusion where he's like, is it true? Is it true? And there, you know, and again, like Ascendant said in the chat, MJF doesn't confirm or deny. He just turns his back and walks out.
Well, there's receipts out there. I don't know if you guys saw it. Someone posted the Facebook status, Wrestling Classic on Instagram, but they posted it on Twitter. They posted the screenshot of MJF's comment. I mean, of course, it could be Photoshopped. This could all be one big work. But, like, it exists. We saw the pictures.
I'll tell you what, though. It's funny because MJF doesn't get enough credit, right? Because when we interviewed him in person, he was in character the whole day. Shot us a little wink at the end, right?
Yeah.
To be like, thank you, good job. I remember when I was hanging out with Riddle at Beyond, right? And it was when they were still both on the indies, and it was a midnight, and me and Riddle were sitting there talking, and we're watching MJF in the ring. He immediately comes, sits behind us, and starts talking to the other guy and starts writing stuff down. Hey, what did you like? What didn't I do right? Like, the dude is a student. Like, that kid, he fucking cares more than anybody I've seen, and it's something you don't see. And now you're seeing all this stuff about when someone was speaking out and everyone was shitting on them, he texted her and made sure she was okay. Like, it's coming out that MJF's actually like a really good dude, but he's just in that character. And I think last night we actually got to see Maxwell Jacob, and I forget his real last name. It's like Fernstein or something, but you got to actually see a piece of the real him, which you never get to because he's always in character.
Yeah, he may be converting me a little bit. I don't know.
And MJF is awesome. He's
MJF's
so good. But
great.
Kyle, what'd you think?
Tony Khan should sign that guy for 10 years right now. Like fucking 10 years,
lifetime
$20 million
contract, bro. Give him that Derrick Rose Adidas contract.
No, but for real, like, why wouldn't you? Here's 10 years, $30 million.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Cody was somewhere that one, the gif of him
biting his lip.
That's my favorite gif now. If anybody wants to pop me, whenever something sad happens, if you post that Cody,
you want to pop the boys
because it's so forced. Because he was like, "My father."
Yeah,
what are you fucking crying about now? Like, you had nothing to do with your dad, dude.
But Kyle, what'd you think of everything?
Jackie, you're not the only one. I literally my Twitter timeline this morning was flooded with people who actually believe that this is MJF turning face. I'm like, y'all just got worked hardcore by the best
No,
promo guy
not
in the
converted
game.
like that. I'm saying like I'm converted in the sense that like I used to just hate him because I hated him. Now it's like I'm kind of like, ooh, he's just so good at what he does. It's not that I'm converted in the sense that I think
You
he's
hated
funny,
it. You like
baby
hated the
but I'm
guy.
like,
Come on now.
he used to drive me up the walls.
Oh,
He was so
Jackie,
freaking
come
annoying.
on.
Annoying.
Come on, man.
Come on. Come
That's
on,
a bad
man.
take. See, there's bad is terrible, and that is terrible. That's
Come
a
on,
terrible
man.
take.
Anyways,
That's a knucklehead.
but yeah,
Just
MJF's promo,
terrible.
legendary, absolutely legendary. He did such an excellent job with this. I literally was sitting here the whole time waiting for him to like swerve in the middle of his promo and then like go right into a heel promo right away. I was waiting for that moment each time like, oh my God, he's going like full tilt into this. And then the one thing that popped me, and I didn't want to pop for this for the whole time. I don't know if anyone caught a counter how many times he said the word Jew throughout the entire promo.
Yeah,
Oh,
Called himself Jew boy at least like 5 to 8 times at that whole promo. Like, yeah, how many times is he gonna call himself a Jew boy? Like,
It's so funny.
We were laughing in the chat, but they did such a good job. Even like the whole thing with Punk coming out at the end and the significance of him turning his back on him. Everything was just so well done with this. Adds so much more to their dog collar match at Revolution. I'm just imagining the video package for this is going to be incredible. You got to think these two have been feuding for like the last like 4 months. Like this dates back to like November when they had that epic promo at Thanksgiving. Like these two have been going at it for a long time. So they have a lot of material here to put together for this match, and we're gonna get an epic conclusion at Revolution. And I cannot wait for it.
Revolution, we make this fucking joke, and now Tony Khan's like, all right, bet. Revolution's our mania. It's like, yeah, I can't argue that now.
Pretty much, you just made it a mania level card.
Like,
And
insane.
So this is funny. So I do want to bring this up because I told this to Jackie before you guys got on. We speak of Revolution being this mania card. We know the other company know that we're building it like this. It's being built as a big event and what everyone's going to be talking about during Revolution weekend. Let's kind of rewind the tape a little bit here to SummerSlam of last summer. Do you guys all remember what happened on the Friday
CM Punk
before
debuted
SummerSlam?
the night before SummerSlam.
So it
Won't forget it.
It overshadowed SummerSlam, correct? Like everyone was like, "Fuck SummerSlam." CM Punk's back in wrestling. The Friday Rampage before Revolution.
Shane McMahon.
No, hold up. I'm not there. Okay, so they're in Jacksonville. It's going to be a live Rampage. SmackDown that night is in Miami. Who is going to debut on SmackDown to overshadow the entire
Cody Rhodes.
Revolution weekend? In
Cody
Miami. But it'd be something
Rock.
for them to do, and you
The
cannot
Rock.
think...
Because Cody Rhodes ain't outdrawn Revolution, buddy.
But everyone's going to
Yeah.
be talking about Cody Rhodes finally going to WWE. They're not going to give a shit about Revolution. That's
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
they're
That's
not gonna
their
give it- they're-
thinking. That's
They're not
their
going to give a shit
thinking,
about
though.
Revolution until Eddie Kingston and Jericho open the show and fucking put on a banger, and you're like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's something they would do. They're like, hey, you guys
they're
ruined our
going to try to
SummerSlam.
overshadow it.
You ruined
Yeah,
our
they're gonna
SummerSlam. How about
try.
this? We're gonna have Cody debut
like-
on the Friday.
That's cool. But and like everyone like, cool, Cody's here. And then Saturday, everyone's going to be talking about the dog collar match, Adam Cole versus
Sunday.
Hangman Sunday. God, I hate that it's on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean,
Killing me,
you
man.
say that, and yeah, we'll be doing it. But I'm telling you right now, wrestling Twitter will be nothing but Cody Rhodes and WWE all weekend long. All weekend
Nah,
long.
we'll be all right. We'll be all right. There's no way. There's no way. There's no
Guys,
way
I-
that
actually-
Revolution is.
I have a spoiler I've been sitting on for a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cody Rhodes is here.
Oh my God.
He's not going to WWE. He's in Ant's room.
Yeah, for
There
audio
he is.
listeners, the figure that I sent Ant that's now going to come back to haunt
Yo,
me.
I keep it right here. It sits on my microphone, so I can just pull it out on Phil. It's like a gun. It's like Orange Glock.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's Cody.
And made mention of
Rhodes
it, so we
Anderson.
can transition right over to that. So it was really the night of promos, right? We almost named this show the night of promos because we saw another incredible promo between a now in incredible shape Chris Jericho. All right,
It's great.
Chris Jericho's in better shape now than when he was the world champion.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, the belt used to be like like lifted up and the belly would be hanging under.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now he is
yeah,
shredded.
no.
It looked like my wife beaters. Like
Yeah.
Is the dad fat?
he
Yeah,
looked like
dude.
Rufus. What was his name? Rufus? Was that his guy?
Yeah.
Ralphus?
Rufus.
Ralph, right?
Rufus.
He looked like.
Yeah. But listen, Jericho and Kingston did great. And Kingston, man, and we say this all the time. We joke around that like Eddie Kingston thinks this shit is real. Like it is real to him. In his mind, it is 100% real. And this promo was so good. You know, they were in Connecticut, right? So we got Kingston mentions, oh, you can go off the road or whatever. And they mentioned like, they don't say WWE, but they like damn near say it a bunch of times. And it was just really good. But Jackie, what did you think of this? I know you love Eddie Kingston. Yeah, they said Levesque, right? Instead of Triple H. But what did you think of all this, Jackie?
Oh my God. I cannot sing the praises of Eddie Kingston enough. Everything that he does feels big and important and just very real. Like you said, we don't think that anybody's told him that this is a scripted situation. I love how he says like, I'm not a sports entertainer, Chris. Like, and he's alluding back to the fact that they are in Bridgeport, which is not far from Stamford. There was a lot of like shots taken, Jericho poking fun at Eddie's age, saying that like, oh, you know, you didn't hit the big time till you were 38 years old. Meanwhile, I was in my 20s, like traveling the world and making a name for myself. By the time I was your age, I was a multiple time world champion. And it's like, it's just, there's so much grit here. But then something interesting happened where Jericho started taking shots at Eddie Kingston's family members, at his uncle, even at his dad.
God, yeah.
And a part of me kind of questioned, and again, the same friend I was talking to earlier brought it up. He was like, Kingston is normally the type, like, if you cross a line, he'll whoop your ass. And it's like, so why in this instance where Jericho goes low enough to mention Eddie's father, like basically calling him a loser, how come Jericho didn't get knocked on his ass in that moment?
Eddie's still a
questioned that
professional.
little bit.
Yeah, this isn't the indies anymore.
Well, first off, if we're talking like real, like shoot, shoot? I don't know. Is he shoot?
Water shoot. I don't know.
Water shoot. No, if we're talking like shoot, right? Like Jericho is, no matter what you think about his public opinions or if you stay in too long, I don't give a fuck about any of that. Jericho is one of the greatest of all time. He is one of the greats, and I think Eddie Kingston, out of respect for pro wrestling, and being on the level where he's now wrestling Chris Jericho, I'm sure he fed him some of those lines to say. Like, I don't think Jericho would just be like, your dad's a loser, and like without.
Oh, no, absolutely. You know. That makes a lot of sense. But, and I love the way that Kingston wrapped it up at the end where he's like, you know, listen, if you're going to come and fight me at Revolution, don't bring me the Chris Jericho that fought the Mimosa Mayhem match. Like, I want the Chris Jericho that was the first ever AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And it's just like, he throws his shots in there too. Brilliantly done. I loved this segment. But then again, anything that Eddie Kingston is involved with is a freaking win to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing this match.
My favorite tweet of the night was when Jericho mentioned Eddie's family. People were tweeting, Eddie, ask him where he was January.
Yeah, where were you January 6th?
Whoops.
Where were you January 6th? Can we just say though, like, I know Eddie's gonna get all the praise because we are big Eddie Kingston fans. Phil looks like Eddie Kingston. Dickhead Chris Jericho is the best version of Chris Jericho. That was the most intriguing Chris Jericho has been since he was the AEW champion. That was the thing I cared about most since he was the AEW champion. That reminded me why Chris Jericho is one of my favorites of all times. That promo, because I'm like, that is the Jericho. Like, he wasn't saying this corny shit. He was being real. He was being raw. He's taking the influencer, which is fucking, I hate it, but that's what you're supposed to do. And it's another layer. It's another one of those gimmick changes that keeps Jericho relevant and keeps him on top of a card, right? And you're going to see, hopefully, a more aggressive Jericho against Kingston. I just think we're going to sing Eddie's praises because Eddie could be yelling at a wall and I'd be like, yo, I can't wait to see that match. Like, because Eddie Kingston's the realist, right? But I think lost on it is that, like, we saw the return of actual fucking Chris Jericho last night. A Chris Jericho that we haven't seen in about a year and a half.
Probably since his feud with Punk in WWE, he was a dickhead then. Like when he was bringing up all the family and the liquor stuff. with Punk's family. Like that was an intense feud with he had.
The
with
best
Punk.
is he was doing that, and after he got a DUI, right?
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I like my beverages, but I don't drive. And it's like, bro, two weeks ago you couldn't walk a straight line. You got arrested, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The irony.
But what do you think of the promo from Kingston, Kyle?
This was great. The whole promo was awesome. I'm a sucker for when they jab at the other company. I'm not gonna sit here and say I hate that shit. I love that. I'll eat that up every single day of the week. So I knew that I was waiting for it too. I'm like, hey, they're down the road from Stanford. Where's the shot gonna be at? And they brought up the sports entertainer thing, and that was great. It popped the crowd, popped the boys. And then when they mentioned the whole like, I want the Jericho that your good friend Levesque hated, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
oh my
let's
God.
go. That was a big pop right there.
Also, Jericho said, "What's his face?" Talking about Cody.
Cody, what's his face? Work or shoot, Jericho? I don't know.
Work or shoot.
What's his face? What is his face?
But it was so good. Like the whole promo was excellent. I loved every minute of it. And they're gonna have a match at Revolution. I was curious to see how they were gonna build this with a couple of weeks, and now we still have another week for them to do a little bit more stuff. I'm sure next week I don't think we're gonna get any more promo. It's just gonna be like they're gonna be like fighting each other. I'm guessing they're gonna be like trying to like they're gonna be like it's gonna be cutting the backstage really quickly, and they're just gonna be beating the shit out of each other, and they'll be like separated by people, and then we're gonna go into the pay-per-view, which I'm fine with, and I'm fine with these two going one-on-one. But Eddie Kingston needs the win here. Like he needs to win way more than Jericho needs to win here. So I hope they book this, and they always do the right thing 98% of the time in AEW. So I will gladly think that Kingston's going to walk away the big W, and that crowd is going to be hot for Eddie Kingston at the pay-per-view, man. It's going to be intense.
Can I bounce something off Phil, because you don't really get to talk much about this stuff, but you and Carrie, who are like my two favorite people, are not on the Chris Jericho train anymore, right? You want him to go away. How did last night change that perception, or did it, or do you still think he needs time off?
So it's not. Chris Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Mm-hmm. It's just and I was talking to Rob about this last night too. So shout out to him. I'm a very much a person who wants the new. Give me the new. Give me the next person up. That's why I loved NXT, and it's why I love AEW now, right? I want to.
That's why you're going to watch Level Up.
No, that's where I draw the line. That's too new for me. That's like right out of camp.
Live. We know it's 205 Live.
Right. So, but it's like I always want new opportunities, new storylines, newer wrestlers to be put in the spotlight. And it's not that I didn't like Jericho. It was just the Inner Circle stuff was like holding back, Santana and Ortiz and Sammy Guevara. Like it's just like I'm done with Jericho. I'd rather hear him on commentary.
Guevara.
I'd rather see him on commentary, just getting away. But I mean, listen, if you're gonna get this great feud with Kingston, I'm all for it. But like you guys said, Kingston needs to win at the end because
Kingston
we've told
to go over.
the Jericho story already.
Yeah,
and I want to get past it. Similar to the way they told the story with Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy went over. I think it's time.
I hated that Orange Cassidy went over.
I'm 100. It wasn't that fucking moment.
It was so dumb. It was so corny. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Worst match.
That just sounds like a bitter non-Orange Cassidy fan to me.
Yeah, hater, bro.
It was a stupid match. It was stupid. You guys like that? It was the dumbest match.
In defense of Ant.
Listen, was that real Mimosa work or shoot?
Listen,
I don't know.
That All Out is
sucked.
the only time I ever turned AEW on.
Yes,
that is the worst event they've ever done.
Isn't that the one where Matt Hardy got concussed too?
Yes.
Isn't that the one where
turned it off?
Bourne hit the top rope?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, we were watching it with a bunch of people.
We were laughing our ass off.
I turned it off. I couldn't take it no more. I never watched MJF versus Moxley, and I never watched them because I turned it off way before.
MJF versus Moxley was even like, it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's just the worst event AEW's ever done.
It's in the COVID era. We just need to forget about it.
That wasn't in the COVID era?
It never happened.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. That was at Daly's
It was
place.
in the COVID era. I forgot because I was working at the restaurant.
There was no fans there
that night. I was so excited that I was like, I told Phil, I'm like, I just walked out of work. Like, we're watching this tonight. I bought it, and I was like, I'm never buying another AEW pay-per-view again.
Like I said, two things we don't talk about. Bruno.
And
that All Out.
Hey, no. that's the night that FTR won the tag team title, so that we can talk about.
And the show
We'll
was
talk about
so
one
bad that I
watch
forgot
out.
that even
I
happened.
forgot that even happened as well,
Rude.
which is crazy.
Rude.
Because I watched one of the greatest wrestlers of all times wrestle around a bowl of Sunny Delight.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
That's a
Dang.
good shit.
You Orange Cassidy hater, bro.
That was a
Right.
stupid. It was a stupid. Did I complain about Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole? No, I'm complaining because that match stipulation was fucking
Yo,
stupid.
Vince Russo was definitely booking that
Chris
show.
Jericho came up with it though. It wasn't like it was an Orange
Then
Cassidy.
he-
idea.
It was
then
Russo.
He needs to put
Sure.
on his
It was
Painmaker
Jericho.
shoulder pads and go back to New Japan. Because that match was stupid.
So funny. Speaking of that, so chat, you're gonna love this. We're watching it, and when Kingston's like, we want the Jericho that was making Levesque hated it. It was like Jericho's gonna be like, I'll give you the Painmaker, brother. But speaking of things that get us hyped, that get us excited, especially me and Kyle. So we get Jade versus Bunny. Right, it was a nice match. They had a great match. Jade ultimately wins, but the stuff that I want to talk about is afterwards. Jade cuts this great promo, say she's gonna be undefeated forever. She's gonna go 50-0. No one's gonna beat her. No one's ready for her. Music hits.
Hold up. Wait.
Wait.
Miss, she pulled a Goldberg. She literally
did-
said,
well,
"Who's next?" And the whole crowd's
No.
like, "Goldberg."
No, she said, "Who's next?" But more like it, "Who's left?" Which is like she was like acknowledged her undefeated streak, but had her own turn to it. So let's not say she's Goldberg.
Yo,
Goldberg
she
does
made the
not
crowd
look that
yellow.
good.
Goldberg at the top of their.
See, for me, I don't see it as Goldberg because I didn't watch WCW, and I never liked Goldberg. But yeah, so we get that, and then who walks out? Friend of the show, Tay Conti
Yes.
walks out and challenges for that title. We get the great spot where they're face to face in the ring, and everyone has shared this GIF. Everyone has shared this clip. Jade being so much taller, kisses her on the forehead. Which, listen, I am not a fighter. I am admittedly not a fighter. It is not
You're a
in my
lover.
blood. I am not Anthony DiStefano.
I
am
don't
not.
fight ever.
I'm not a fighter, right? But if somebody taller than me kissed me on the forehead,
Oh, it's
by
on
law,
site.
I have
It's
to
on
fight
site.
you, bro. You're going to have, the sound on TikTok, you're going to have to kill me. That's what you're going to have to do, okay? Because I cannot leave that situation without one of us dying, because that is the most disrespectful shit you could do, right? But if this means we get Tay versus Jade at Revolution, which they haven't confirmed yet,
Oh, it's happening. Because I think Ty forgot to say Revolution, and Jade picked up and was like, "At Revolution." And then they
Yeah.
started- Because
Yeah.
Ty was like,
I
"Bitch,"
thought
and then
that.
all you hear is "At Revolution."
Yeah.
What? But yeah, when Ty came out, you know that song? What was her name? Like Natalie Imbruglia or whatever.
and Bruglia,
Nothing's right. I'm torn.
yeah,
That's
I'm
what
all
my
out of faith.
That was my
This
feeling
is
when
how
Ty
I
came
feel.
out to convert Jade. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, who? I love them both.
Yeah.
How about I ref the match?
But Kyle, how excited were you?
I mean,
To see this.
what if it was Red Velvet? I don't think you'd be that pumped.
I like
No,
Red
was-
Velvet.
Listen.
No, but you wouldn't
I
have been
want-
as happy as if it was.
And would have
Ty.
started doing this shit.
No, fuck no. It's because I love Ty and I love Jade. They're like my two favorites right now in women's wrestling, besides Deanna, who needs to come over here. But I'm like, when she came out, I'm like, oh my god, like this is a match I wanted, and now it's gonna happen. But I'm like, who do I cheer for? Because Ty deserves it so much when we heard about her journey. But Jade, I feel, is the biggest star in women's wrestling right now.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I was like, oh, I had to mute myself. I literally had to mute the mic in our chat because I'm like, oh god, Phil, you're gonna pop. Like, I just unmute. I'm like, hold on to your hat, Phil.
Hold on to your hat.
I was
What are
like
you,
this.
75?
Well, he wears I don't know if he was wearing a hat. I couldn't tell. We all had our cameras off.
Yo, all I know is my computer was being a piece of shit, and I had to get on my phone and get back in the chat. Phil,
Yeah.
I used my fucking Regis Film and Lifeline to phone a friend real quick.
Listen, nothing will make me feel worse than I was supposed to go to that show. And I ended up not going. And we get the debut of Buddy Matthews and fucking Tay Conti.
It
versus
makes
Jade.
me want to buy a ticket and go to Orlando.
Yeah, this
For
wrestling.
Revolution?
It's
Yeah.
I'm just scared because I think this might be the pre-show because they already have
Okay.
8 matches on the card.
that's fine
Yeah.
because that pre-show match will fucking draw people to actually buy a pay-per-view instead of a 9-man fucking tag match.
No,
Yeah,
please put that fucking random match that got
I think
announced
that might
last
be.
night
Maybe
with Sting and
I
Darby.
guarantee they'll switch it. Guarantee they'll switch it. It'll be that. It'll be that sick. That what is it they call it?
Like,
the first ever
the 6-man.
why aren't we doing the
between-
TNT title? Like, why? Like
tornado style. Yeah, that's what they're
You've
called.
built this more than you've built Kingston and Jericho with this.
Well, because Sammy's
Darby.
hurt. Sammy got hurt.
Make another interim champion. Let him carry around 3 fucking belts. Jesus.
There's 3, and then we got 4.
Yeah, so for people in the chat who maybe don't watch the vlogs, on Sammy's vlog this past week, he has a scratched retina. When they were him and Darby were slapping each other, Darby scratched his eye, and it was rough. He couldn't even open it. Like poor Tay Conti is like carrying this grown man around like a baby
like
because he
Shawn
can't open his
Michaels.
eyes. Yeah, so it's like I love all the Shawn Michaels slander.
Well, fuck him. Fuck him. So,
and so yeah, I don't know if Sammy can do a full match right now. But put that on the pre-show and kind of building off what Kyle said.
Pac wrestled in a fucking blindfold, bro. Anything's possible.
Yeah, put him in an eye patch and keep it moving. But so AEW has shown before that when a match is on the pre-show that fans want to show, they will do it. Like if enough fans get behind, I'm sure the second the fans see that Jade is on a pre-show, they're gonna complain, and we're gonna get that on the main show.
Yeah. They can't put that on the pre-show.
No way. Jackie, what do you think?
Over, it served its purpose. Bunny she looked great. There was a couple of close calls in there where you thought, like, not that you thought she would win, but they made it look like she could have. I loved the her bringing out the brass knuckles and then Jade countering it with smacking her with the freaking TBS belt. I don't know what, like, I know why, but at the same time, I don't know why Matt Hardy was out there. Please stop doing this. Please stop putting Matt Hardy in.
It's almost over.
It's just,
because fucking Jeff Hardy announces he's going to AEW on like a
podcast that has
30-person
300 subscribers on YouTube. Like, out of all places to announce you're coming,
you never know who's gonna get the lucky scoop. But yeah, no, overall it was really great. I love Ty being the next contender. I don't know if y'all think she'll be the one to break the streak. Seems a little soon, but
crazier things have happened. Remember, Sammy beat Miro. Anything is possible.
The only way this happens, to answer is Jackie's question, if they're going to put the world title on Jade, like the women's world, because Jade is like all anyone's talking about. Like outside the AEW bubble, even people who don't watch her, like that, she's a star, right? So like the only way is like if Thunder Rosa beats Britt and then Jade goes and takes the belt off Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, at Double or Nothing, maybe.
I just, as much as I want Ty to win too, I just don't think it's her time yet.
Yo, Ty win by any means necessary. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. I don't care if anything happens. Anything. Any means necessary.
I'm cheering either way. I'm cheering either way. Either way, I'm just going to be standing the whole time.
Yeah, just happy. You're just happy to be here. What if Jade fought Nikki Bella? Who would you?
You're like that gif. Look at us.
Who would I beat? My meat. Who would win?
Oh my god!
It would be the first episode of Cock Torture.
Great, Jackie.
Oh boy. You know, I set you up, and I still didn't expect that. I don't know.
Whatever. Who would I cheer for? I cheer for my thing not to fall off.
Oh, your thing.
Yeah.
My thing, my ding-a-ling.
Well, there's no way to segue out of that. But so the main event last night.
Speaking
of another dream, right? We get a dream match. Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia in the main event. There was definitely some time restrictions, because especially afterwards, nothing was funnier than Kyle in the chat being like, yo, they're pushing it. It is 9:59.
And is about to talk.
Yeah, he just started talking. Like they ended at like 10 o'clock and like 50 seconds. Like
it was 10:01.
10:01. Yeah,
they
pushed the boundaries, but I mean the match itself was just incredible. Everything that we could have wanted, right? Daniel Garcia is just so goddamn good. Earlier in the night, Danielson cut a promo saying that that Garcia reminds him of a younger him. Mm-hmm. So it was cool that we got to see this match. And it's so great. But Ann, I'm gonna start with you. What'd you think of this match?
I loved it. I know Jackie's more the technical person. She
Wizard.
was probably like drooling over this match. It was really, really good. Danielson, it just Danielson is the best wrestler on this planet. Like, you
Yes.
can't tell me otherwise.
So good.
You can't tell me otherwise. The transitions these guys were doing, then they started slapping and throwing fucking elbows, and I was like, oh my God, like they were cranking on each other. I was, this is great. At the end, though, I was the same way. Like, Moxley's coming out at 9:58, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I felt like WCW days when they would like, it would cut off. You're like, no, why did that happen? And like, Danielson's about to speak, and you see Moxley like, like, oh, hurry the
Like,
fuck
go,
up.
go.
Like, go. Awesome. I mean, Danielson versus Moxley is the match. I think Rob tweeted this too. That's the match that I was like, I might get on the plane in March to go to fucking Orlando, because if I could see Danielson Moxley
In a first blood match.
in a first blood match, is it a first blood match?
So this was written on Wikipedia, and I'm like, I don't remember them saying this. The first
They
blood
they
match.
said bleed, but I didn't recall it being it's a. First off, first blood matches can be fucked up, because I don't know if you guys remember when Kane versus Stone Cold happened, and Kane was not supposed to win, but Stone Cold started bleeding, so they had to call it. And then the next night they flipped it, and Stone Cold beat Kane for the title.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that.
You book yourself into a dangerous predicament because one solid strike and someone's busted.
Especially as hard as these guys are going to
Oh my God. Danielson's chest will bleed. What the fuck? I mean, that's first blood right there.
Technically, yeah, that counts, right? This dude had a bloody chest for like 3 months.
yeah. The first
They
blood
did make
matches are tough to do. So,
Dude, this is WrestleMania. This is their WrestleMania. First blood match, a dog collar match, a fucking Sting on a pole match. Like, this
Sting
is
on a pole, like, Darby's got to reach up the.
But Kyle, what do you think of the
Loaded.
match?
Oh man, this was so good. This was I like we said, we have to go back and watch it again because it's tough to watch. It's just that match needs to be run back without commercial interruption. I think those two can actually. I think those two didn't go full tilt. They had a really good match, but I think those two can go for a lot longer and do a lot more. So, and we said it before, and we even say it off the show that if Danielson does do ultimately this dojo type faction, Garcia's got to be one of the head guys there. He's got to be one of the main staples of that faction.
and Lee Moriarty.
And Lee Moriarty, our boy Lee Moriarty.
And Wheeler Yuta.
And Wheeler Yuta, yeah, for sure.
I think Wheeler Yuta could just be still best friends. I would go with Moriarty, Daniel Garcia, and Gresham.
Oof.
That's what I would be, and I would be like almost like the four horsemen of fucking technical wrestling, because I don't think Moxley's going to join, because Moxley doesn't do good with factions. Even though he was in the greatest faction of all time, Moxley doesn't do good with factions.
Only if they do just to make me happy, and this is gonna piss Rob off, but just to make me happy, only if they read the Mean Girls scene and they're like, and none for you, Zack Sabre Jr. Bye.
Oh yeah, that would be funny. That would be. I mean, he did dethrone Zack Sabre Jr. with the rest. I've
never liked Zack Sabre Jr. So that's why everybody always gives me. Like, I know he's a great wrestler, but like, he's not for me.
Yeah.
But Jackie, now I saved you for last. One reason and one reason only. Like Ant said, this is your match. This is the type of wrestling that you love the most. So please let us know how we're supposed to feel about this.
You guys do this every time. It was, once it was announced, this was something that I was very like hyped about, because you have these two technicians, but you have the young gun, and then you have the seasoned vet, and you just know that these two are going to go against each other. And Ant fucking starts cracking up every single time that I'm going to go on a like.
Wait, what are we laughing at?
What are you laughing at now?
I just saw the Twitch. I just saw the Twitch stream. Nobody's seeing this.
What?
Look at the Twitch stream. The picture.
Oh, I don't have it up. I didn't see it. I don't have it up.
When I walk away from this show, y'all will understand why I did it. All right.
Speaking of walking away, go buy Canes. Canes from Walking
good,
Anonymous. Okay,
you know Kyle was saving that the whole fucking episode. The best part about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm shutting my mic off because I'm still
Go ahead, Jackie. Stop.
No, I kind of don't want to anymore. Anyway, I love the fact that Garcia has no back down in him whatsoever. It's like, despite the fact that we all know that Danielson is, without question, at this point, one of the top wrestlers in the company, but Garcia's not backing down from shit. And shout out to my brother Nate, who said last night that Danielson is like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels' best wrestling attributes had a baby. Like, just
He trained.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels trained.
Shawn Michaels trained him, but at least Daniel Bryan can see straight. Bryan
He isn't a
Danielson.
piece of shit. Yeah.
There was a great spot after a flying knee strike from Danielson where Garcia is there on the ground. He's like checking his teeth to make sure none of his teeth were knocked out. And I'm like, either he really did get knocked in his mouth, or that was a cool callback to the match with Colt Cabana, where Colt Cabana actually did lose some of his teeth.
I think that was shoot because he got hit hard as fuck.
But then you get the arrogant pose again at the end where he's like flexing, where he's got him in the triangle sleeper finisher. It's just, Danielson is on such a run that every single match that he does, it doesn't matter if he's facing somebody at the very top of the card or just some random person, just entering the game. He's just knocking it out of the park for these matches. Everything Danielson does is so entertaining, and just getting ready to see what's going to happen at Revolution with Moxley. That shit is going to be lit. So
yeah, I
can't believe I was able to say all that in fucking picture-in-picture.
No.
Nope, you're off picture-in-picture. Now you're back.
Don't worry, and you weren't muted like the actual picture-in-picture. They could still hear you.
Yeah, they could still hear you.
I'm glad you popped the people in the chat at least.
Yeah, Jackie's always feeling some type of way.
So the last thing I want to talk about on that happened on Dynamite, and just we'll mention it
live on Dynamite 9 days from tonight.
We have Ricky Starks versus 10. Ricky Starks win the match, or he won the match, which a lot of people were disappointed in because 10 would have been another meaty guy added to this very meaty match.
You need somebody who can move, like fast.
No, I would have just seen a whole match full of meaty men. That would have been great. I think
Hold
that would have been something different.
I have a legit question, because that match, I don't know about you guys, but that match did absolutely nothing for me.
It sucked.
Did we even talk about the tag team battle royal in the beginning?
Oh, no, we didn't. You're right.
Okay.
We didn't. No.
Wow, and we're already at an hour and 30 minutes into the show.
No.
A lot of stuff.
I'm only an hour.
Yeah.
No, but that would be the last match we haven't touched on. So.
All right, so let's just go to that, because the Starks match, who cares? Ricky Starks won. So the tag team battle royal, we can end with this. So
Paragon, baby.
Kyle has been saying that he believes we're going to get Bucks and Red Dragon added to this match. The way this match was kind of structured, it definitely seems like that could be a possibility. We saw a backstage segment with them kind of further teasing the tension between the Bucks and Red Dragon. The one thing that I do want to mention before we talk about the match is a couple of spots that happened in the match. We saw Santana and Trent get a massive ovation with them two in the ring, calling back to their street fight, a parking lot brawl that they had. And then the other thing that we mentioned earlier, which is FTR and the Bucks were face to face, and they got a massive reaction.
Yeah,
Dax tweeted out that, hey, the first time we did this, there were no fans there. Right? It was during the COVID era. Let's run it back. Let's put egos aside, and let's do it in front of an arena full of fans, which I hope they do at Double or Nothing. I don't want to wait long for this. Let's do this. It gives the Bucks something to do, and I'm definitely excited about it. But
was it at Double or Nothing in the COVID era that they had that match?
It was at Full Gear.
Oh, it's
Full Gear, yeah.
Okay.
It was because that's where the Bucks beat them. So Kyle, I'm gonna start with you. Right, you are the number one Paragon fan on this show.
Undisputed Era, baby.
Paragon.
It'll always be UE. It's always them.
How did you feel? So two things. One, how did you feel about the match? But first, how do you feel about this confusing ass thing that there was a battle royal already, but next week we're gonna get a battle royal of all the teams who lost?
Is that what they're doing?
Spot? Yeah, because the Bucks were like, we have another shot.
Okay,
like
I wasn't sure what they were gonna do next week, like what teams are gonna be, because I was sitting there while watching them, getting like, which other teams are left in AEW? We're like piecing stuff together, and we're like, oh, this team could be in it, maybe this team, and maybe they can throw a bunch of dark guys together. I don't know, but it's gonna be the Bucks and Red Dragon. Damn it, Ant. It's gonna be Red Dragon and the Bucks. 100%.
You said it.
It's not good. I know everyone's clamoring for a Proud and Powerful or FTR, and the story here is the Bucks. They're always gonna go with story first. The story here is with the deception between Adam Cole, the Bucks, and Red Dragon. So you know that's going to lead to the pay-per-view match, which will be interesting because I think it'll still be Jurassic Express to retain the belts. I don't think either team is going to, because I think if they're going to do a feud with Young Bucks and Red Dragon, they don't need belts.
I don't want Jamie Strange to be mad at me, but can I just say that I think the Jurassic Express title reign feels worse than the Lucha Bros title reign.
It does
right
feel
now.
a little lackluster. I will give it that. Like they really haven't been having that many feuds, and whenever they've had a feud, I mean, they had a feud against the Ass Boys. No one really took that seriously because they didn't believe the Ass Boys were gonna. There hasn't been a believable feud for Jurassic Express. It kind of just been and I don't like using this word. They've been a placeholder champion.
Well, the problem is Luchasaurus. And it's not that I'm against him. It's not that I don't like his gimmick. I think the problem is Luchasaurus. Like, Jungle Boy is exceptional, right? He is like the ultimate babyface in that company. You get so invested in everything Jungle Boy does, but the moment you add Luchasaurus, for some reason, they don't give the Lucha Bros, or not the Lucha Bros, they don't give Jurassic Express like serious storylines.
Because he's a fucking dinosaur?
No, I know that, but like, yeah, the character's a dinosaur, but like,
but maybe you make him like a woolly mammoth or a different fucking.
I don't know. It's not like, and Jamie's gonna hate us for this, but like, I'm just not invested in it, right? Like, there are tag teams like PNP, like Sen is saying in the chat, getting huge ovations that people are invested in. People are invested in Trent and Chuck, right?
Jungle Boy should just go be a TNT champion at this point. And I like Luchasaurus, but I just don't feel like he's great. But I just can't take them as serious as I want to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Because
he's great. He's fantastic. I think he's great.
And I think he's over too. Like, whenever he gets his spots in the ring.
You pigeonholed yourself as the dinosaur.
But the problem is, and Jackie, tell me if you agree to this, but the problem is with the Lucha Bros title reign that we said, it was like, there wasn't really much to it. They were just like, oh, we're champs and we're happy to be here and we're having great matches, but like, we're not really digging into storylines. And then the House of Black stuff happens and we get very excited, but then Phoenix gets hurt. And I don't know how much that changed plans, but then all of a sudden now we're at Jurassic Express and they're not really doing nothing, while we're seeing like FTR in segments and we're like, why aren't they champions? Or, PNP in segments, Santana's cutting these incredible promos. Like, why aren't they champions? Like, Butcher and the Blade still look super strong. So it's like, I don't know. I kind of want some new blood in there.
So if they're not going to lose the belts at Revolution, I really hope that they do have something in place for them to feud into Double or Nothing, because you really need to, or else what we're saying right now is I don't see a lot of chatter with it on Twitter. We're going to start seeing a lot of chatter with it on Twitter saying that why are Jurassic Express the champions right now when, we should be, we're going to start seeing a lot more, in a way, complaints. I will leave it with this. I'm telling you guys right now, next week, the Bucks help. Red Dragon does help the Bucks win next week. They're going to help them win the match.
Possibly. Jackie, what were you going to say, Jackie?
Awesome, the match.
I was just going to say, to me, it's kind of the curse of the Babyface Championship run. That thankfully Hangman Adam Page has escaped from, because normally we've talked about this before where the joy is in the chase and then they get it and then it's like, but now what? I personally have always enjoyed heel championship runs because you just never know what to expect. There's always some, shenanigans going on. It's always unpredictable. With the babyface champions, because they play so much by the book, it's like it falls subject to like, oh, this is getting kind of like lackluster, it's feeling boring or something like that. They won January 5th. That was the show that we were at, and what really has been done since then?
But to be fair, they feuded with the Ass Boys. Like, they haven't had and here's the thing, right? With this match, even this match, right? If it happens, the tag team champions aren't the story. The story are the Bucks and Red Dragon, and they're just there with the belts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what takes away from it, is there's nothing centered around these guys. When Lucha Bros were the champion, something was set, like they were the center of the tag division. Stuff was happening around them, and they were part of the story. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy just like, oh, yell apples. And it's like, okay, I'm going to yell apples. But right now, Red Dragon and Young Bucks are
But doesn't it make you think that maybe Lucha Bros weren't supposed to lose? That like Phoenix's injury kind of threw everything for
No,
they call
I think I had told you this a while back. The fact that Jungle Boy's family was there in the audience at that show just lends itself to me to that they knew that he was going to take the champion. It was a moment for them to be there. If they hadn't been there and they hadn't been shown the audience, I would probably agree with what you're saying, that it was a call on the fly. But the fact that they were there, I think that was an intentional change of the guard, so to speak.
Jackie, that's why you're the best on the show. I don't remember stuff like that.
Oh my God. I'm just wondering though, like, okay, if let's say we need something to happen for, Jurassic Express to be made more interesting, do we get like a Christian Cage turn on them? Is that like what's going to, be the catalyst?
How about it just does his own thing? Him and fucking Frankie Kazarian can go hunt elite people. Get the fuck out of here.
The Elite Hunter tag team. Yeah, I love that.
But yeah,
let's go, man. Let's get some shirts.
They need something. They need something because at this point, it's like it's gonna fall flat really quick. So, like you said, the story is with the Bucks and Red Dragon. I don't think that they even necessarily needed a title involved, and that's kind of why I wish somebody else would have won the match because they could tell their story without the title needing to be involved. But I don't know.
I just think right now, in AEW, they always deliver us great matches, but I think right now it's kind of weird that we're seeing two of their major titles with the tag team titles and the TNT title kind of be on people we want them to be on. Like we like Jurassic Express, we like Sammy, and it's like they're not really doing anything feud-wise with them. They're both like Sammy is now a part of this feud.
But Sammy's title reign's been fucking
all over the place.
Combine them, it's been great though.
No, he's had great matches, but they haven't given him like, other than the Cody stuff, he hasn't had like a
It's
feud.
just like this. It's just like what's happening in the tag title match.
Yeah.
So say when they get to this triple threat match, when Sammy Guevara feels better, what is the storyline about? It's about Andrade and Darby.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do. But here's the weird thing.
You said booked the TNT belt, hasn't it? Ever since the TNT belt came into existence, it's always been about the open challenge.
I guess you're right.
There's never been a triple threat match. You said the triple threat match couldn't happen because Sammy's hurt, but isn't Sammy wrestling Andrade Friday?
No, it's not. That's not a triple threat match. That's a 6-man tag.
No, isn't he wrestling?
No,
Andrade's going
fighting.
for the title
you're right.
Friday.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So why couldn't we? I don't know why we had to have the clusterfuck conundrum of 6-man just to get Matt Hardy in a match. Okay,
but I think the TNT belt has always been the open challenge concept. Like it's always there really hasn't ever been a story with the TNT belt until the last time there was one. If I remember it correctly, was Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee. But that
Miro and Kingston had a story.
Yeah,
it started with an open challenge and it evolved into
a story. Okay. Either way, it's going to be Red Dragon and Young Bucks. And when I said earlier, Ant, that Red Dragon is going to help the Bucks and not cost them, it's because Adam Cole has been yelling at them to get along. So in order for them to get along, he's going to help the Bucks win the match, and the Bucks are going to be pissed at Red Dragon for help.
The Bucks did not give a fuck when Red Dragon was getting beat down by Hangman.
But they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Do it secretly. They're going to make sure the Bucks don't see them help. Like they'll be hiding. Like Bobby Fish will be hiding under the ring, and he'll come up and grab someone's leg or something. They won't see him.
I feel like they're going to cost him.
Listen, we could talk about not being excited about this tag team match. But one thing that I'm very excited for, that I want to shout out before we get into the preview of the next week and Rampage. Shout out to Jamie Strange for finally getting her Jungle Boy meet and greet Revolution Weekend. I cannot wait to not only see the pictures, but to hear the story. Oh, this is going to be so great, right?
Strange vlog.
Now we got to get Ant to meet Jade. That's the ultimate goal.
And we're gonna have to bring some smelling salts.
Looks like it'll look like I'm ready to go pole vaulting.
Don't worry, I'll bring some smelling salts. I'll get you to wake up.
Yeah, Phil met me the first time I met Nikki, and I was like, my legs were shaking.
Have we ever told you that story, Kyle?
Then he saw. Then he was with me the show. Then he was with me the fifth time I met Nikki, and she knew who I was and was hugging me, and it was awesome.
Well, right before we get out of here, because
family.
we are running long, there's a lot of stuff to talk about when it
I
comes
always
to
run
AEW.
long, baby. It's my
So,
secret.
Rampage preview, we have Orange Cassidy versus Anthony Bowens. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa do a contract signing. Sammy has that match against Andrade that Ann was talking about for the TNT title. And Serena Deeb's rookie challenge. And then a little preview for Dynamite next week. We have the second part of the Tag Team Casino Battle Royale, whatever that's going to mean, who's going to be in it. Maybe we see a surprise team from another company come in, or maybe it's just the Bucks like we all kind of assume it's going to be. And we get the return of Hangman, Silver, and Reynolds versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon. So I think Hangman and Dark Order, they're called the Good, the Bad, and the Hungry. So we get to see that team again, which would be really, really fun. But as we get out of here, I'd like to remind you to follow the show at Elite POV on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at Philium Elite. You could support the show at patreon.com/ElitePOV, youtube.com/ElitePOV for all replays and some cool stuff that we have coming. Jamie's going to do a vlog of Revolution Weekend, so that's something you should look forward to. If you guys remember Jackie's incredible vlog when she went to WrestleCade, it's going to be similar to that, so definitely look forward to that. And ElitePOVmerch.com to get all the great stuff we have coming up. But Jackie, let everybody know where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Twitter at LoveYouMake24 and on Instagram at JacksTheDraw POV.
Wow.
Ant, let them know.
Well, if you're in this chat, it means you're on Twitch right now. So I'm going to share my link. This is my gaming channel, Defiant. Every time I game, it's pretty much with the Elite POV crew, and it gets a little crazy. So follow me there, and make sure you follow Alliance Wrestling Fed. And if you did not sign up for the eFed, please reach out for Kyle and I, because next week Kyle and I start working on the eFed shit, and life will never be the same for us.
No.
Yeah. And Kyle, let them know where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me at All Elite Kyle on Twitter. Follow the E Federation that Ann was just talking about on Twitter, twitter.com/AWF_EFed. We have the draft this Saturday night, guys. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of people in the chat.
I got my handle captain ready, baby. Let's do it.
There's actually people in the chat here that are going to be new to the RE-Fed who are fans of Elite POV. You guys are going to want to tune in to that Twitch channel this Saturday, twitch.tv/Alliance Wrestling Fed. If not, we'll retweet it with the Elite POV Twitter account. You guys can get to it easily that way. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday for that draft. We're going to draft the rosters. And then Sunday, we have our very last pay-per-view, kind of like a spring teaser to the new season of AWF, and it'll be the last paper we do with 2K19 before we put that up on the Hall of Fame shelf for one of the best wrestling games of all time. At the same time, one of the shittiest games of all time. But yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff planned for that, a lot of cool stuff planned for the Patreon, guys. Stay tuned. I'm almost done with the one project. I just have to film the match, and then I can get it out to you guys. I ran a poll for all you guys. I put together the video package, and everything is going to be really cool. I just have to film the match and then get it out to you guys. And we have a lot of cool stuff coming to Patreon. So thank you to all our supporters out there, all our patrons that continue to support us each and every single month. And we are going to be doing the after show right after this, answering your questions out there.
And Jamie Strange is going to be on it after she just got Jungle Boy tickets, so she's going to be hyped as shit.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Elite POV. And remember, you don't need a hat to be a cowboy. We'll see you next week.
Bye.